I'm now going to attempt the worst ever John Cena impression. Chuck! Chuck!
What do you say?
Chuck!
Here's what I said.
In your own party saying
Yes.
that's to go.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm the best leader for the Senate. We have a lot of leaders. You know, when you don't have a president, there's not one leader of the party. There are lots of them. We have a lot of good people. But I am the best at keep winning Senate seats. I've done it in 2005. Just in 2020, no one thought we'd take back the Senate. Under my leadership, we took it. So we now are executing.
You're not going anywhere.
We have a great. We're moving forward. Hakeem and I have a plan. Let me just say this. There's a real contrast between the parties. The Republican Party now, particularly in office, is the party of rich oligarchs who want to really screw every average American so they can get tax cuts for the rich. And we are fighting that every day. So today, we just issued a statement at 8 o'clock that describes it. Hakeem and I, we have a day of action on Medicaid. In every state, in every corner of the country, Democrats are talking about they're going to Medicaid centers. They're going to people who would be deprived and
Senator, people don't have faith in the Democrats.
Well, let me say this. Look, and we're going to do this day in, day out on issues. Why are they doing tariffs and raising your cost $2,000? It's beginning to work. Why are they taking away Fannie and Freddie and raising your housing costs dramatically? It's beginning to work. His numbers have come down. If we keep at it every day, relentless fighting and showing how they're hurting people so badly, Trump's numbers will get much lower. And his both popularity but also his effectiveness will decline. I believe that strategy will work.
May I hold up the book?
I'm now going to attempt the worst ever John Cena impression. Chuck! 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 It's high time we stir the pot, and I'm not just talking about the WWE ring. I'm talking the big league, the Democratic Party, Chuck. And let me tell you, Chuck, you've been about as excited as a glass of water at a hot sauce convention. Now, listen here, Chuck. It's time for a change of scenery. Why don't you pack up your filibusters and head on over with the likes of Trump and Elon? Picture this. Billionaires and their bureaucrats starring you, Chuck, on prime time TV. And think about the spotlight, Chuck. I can see you now, making the rounds on Fox News, where they flip more than pancakes at a breakfast buffet. Chuck, get yourself some of those sweet endorsements from folks like Charlie Kirk. Man, that dude thinks a hashtag can save the world. Oh, and the Twitter fame or the X fame, Chuck. Can you imagine all the likes you're going to get from Elon's bros? Your phone will be buzzing more than a beekeeper's convention. Feel it, Chuck. But let's cut to the chase. Chucky, you've been in this game longer than I've been tossing guys twice my size. Bit Lindsey Graham there. Over the top rope. And what's it got in you? Maybe it's time to tap out, take a bow and let the new kids run the show. Ever thought about a career in wrestling, Chuck? I hear they're looking for fresh, old faces. So Chuck, before you try to wrestle me into a debate, remember one thing. I'm the worst John Cena impression. You can't see me, but oh buddy, you're definitely going to hear me. We won't be doing that again. But you get the message.
Angered by, and we've seen it described as a civil war, as a train wreck. Many Democrats believe, you know, if you have a government shutdown, that will force President Trump and Republicans to the negotiating table. Why not use your vote to push back and fight?
Because the idea that they would go to the negotiating table is they don't do it. This is a new group. This is not the old group. Let me explain. I knew when I took this vote there'd be a lot of protests, but I felt I had to do it for the future, not only of the Democratic Party, but the country. Because here's as bad as that CR bill was, and it was bad, a shutdown is 10 times worse. Let me give you what happens.
And blamed on the Democrats.
And you're right, Gail. But can I just explain what?
But you had been saying you were not going to vote. I think people were upset with you, and people are very upset with you because you had led people to believe that, no, I'm going to vote against.
Okay, well, let me explain why first the shutdown is terrible. People ought to know that. The executive branch, in this case, Musk, Doge, and this horrible guy Vogt, who have no concern for working people would have had sole power to determine what opens and what closes. They determine what is essential. You can't go to court. So on day 2, get rid of SNAP and food for hungry kids. It's not essential. Day 4, get rid of mass transit aid. Let New York City do it. Not essential. Cut back on Medicaid and health care. Within 2 weeks, everyone would have been howling. Furthermore, it's even worse. It has no off-ramp. Guess who determines when we leave the shutdown? The Republicans. And let's not forget how bad they are. This guy, Vogt, probably the most evil man. He's the guy who came up with that Project 2025.
Yes.
Yeah, he has a whole playbook of what to shut down. So they had said, one of the Republican senators who knows said to us, you'll be in the shutdown for 6 to 9 months till we totally destroy the federal government. So the shutdown was a much worse alternative. I knew I'd get a lot of flack.
But Senator,
I took some bullets from other people.
And you're still taking bullets, but should you have let people know you're thinking ahead of time? Because really, people thought...
The problem was it came so fast. Hakeem and I had a strategy, which was to try and get a bipartisan bill, which meant in the House, the Republicans would have not been able to pass it. Only at the last minute did it happen that they all voted for it. And so Patty Murray tried to get that bipartisan bill on Wednesday. That's why I said we didn't have the votes yet. They pulled out Wednesday night, and Thursday we had 2 bad choices. But I assure the public, a shutdown would have been the greatest disaster we have to put the government in the sole hands of the evil, nasty, nihilistic people like Musk and Vogt and Trump. Would have been the greatest. We would have had half the federal government we have now. So I thought I did the thing a leader should do. Even when people don't see the danger around the curve, my job was to alert people to.
I think what happened in Congress and certainly the discussion around Leader Schumer is a loss of the messaging war by the time we were to that point. What we were talking about was whether Democrats were going to vote to keep the federal government open or not, but that's not what it was. We should have been talking about how the Republicans were holding the country hostage. They were demanding more authority for Elon Musk to lay off thousands of people and then claim it's because of poor performance, which is a lie, and threatening to shut down the federal government if they didn't get their way. We've got to make sure that we are out there proactively talking about the truth, talking about what's happening, and talking about what we're for instead of just who we're against. We're for a well-functioning government. There are things that need to be fixed inside that government. But the other party should never hold the operations of government hostage to give more power to a president who's running all over Congress and Republican congressmen and women being unable or unwilling to do their job, to follow their oath. And remember, most of them had their hand on a Bible when they took the oath to uphold the Constitution, and they're not doing it.